Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. If you look at Daily Nation newspaper today, it captures a very interesting story. A story about Raila Molo Odinga, President Uhuru Kenyatta's game plan as far as 2022 politics are concerned. Daily Nation revealed new name for Uhuru Raila coalition. Then at the top there, Jubilee says it's engaging Wiper, ANC and Ford Kenya too. Yes. That's the story as captured by Daily Nation newspaper today. If you go through the story, it's just trying to tell us that both Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta's men have moved to the registrar of political party to reserve the name Azimio la Umoja. An indication that maybe Azimio la Umoja might just be the coalition, or rather the umbrella coalition that will encompass all these parties currently in the handshake team. Yes. Wiper, ODM, Ford Kenya, Musalia's party, NC, all these parties and these other smaller parties, they will just be given a house in Azimio la Umoja Alliance, or maybe any other name. Yes. That's the story as captured by the Daily Nation newspaper today. So, what does this mean politically? What does it mean politically? That's our analysis and discussion today. So if in case you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. Give it a like, please. Give it a like. Thank you. God bless you. Yes. What does this mean politically? From where I sit, I tend to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are seeing history repeating itself. In 2002, we had such kind of an alliance that gave KANU party a humiliating defeat in the 2002 election. In that alliance, or rather in that election, we first had NAK that had Mwai Kibaki, Charity Ngilu, and the late Kijana Wamalwa. Yes, the three parties. The three parties formed NAK. And then NAK later merged, or rather entered in some agreements with LDP that also had Raila and Kalonzo. And then they came up with a broad coalition alliance called NARC coalition that swept the whole country. I'm seeing a similar situation repeating itself in 2022. In 2022, we are most likely, ladies and gentlemen, seeing all these major parties, ODM, Jubilee, Wiper, ANC, Ford Kenya. We are most likely to see all these parties and other smaller parties coming under one umbrella. And then on the opposing side, we might find William Ruto alone with this other party. So I tend to believe, just as it happened in the year 2002, we are also most likely to witness the same scenario. In 2002 election, we had KANU that represented the status quo, what Kenyans were trying to run away from or to move away from. And then we had NARC that was promising hope and change. In fact, in 2002, Kenyans were ranked as the most optimistic people in the whole world, rather in the globe. Kenyans were ranked as the most optimistic people. And KANU was largely seen at that time as the face of impunity that represented the status quo. So if you look at 2022 election, I'm seeing it repeating itself, exactly the same scenario that we had in 2002. In 2022, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at UDA comes out as a party that represents the status quo. the bad things Kenyans are trying to run away from. If you look at Oda is mainly or majorly composed of the Kalenjins and the Mount Kenya mafias, or rather the Mount Kenya, to some extent. And if you look at this Azimio la Umoja party that is going to be formed, it's largely encompassing all other tribes in Kenya. So Oda, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, it only represents two communities. The two communities that have ruled this country since independence. And largely Kenyans are trying to move away from that kind of an outfit. On this other side of Azimio, it encompasses almost every sector and community of this country. So in 2022 election next year, we might find these two as the dominant political players on the political stage, or rather scene, in Kenya. So, how is it going to turn out? I strongly believe, ladies and gentlemen, that by the time we will be going to the election, Oda party from where I sit, as much as it appears as of today to be composed mainly of Kalenjins and the Mount Kenya, rather the Kikuyus, by 2022, I'm seeing a scenario where Oda party, and I'm saying this with a lot of confidence as somebody who is keenly following political events in this country. By 2022, most likely Oda party will only be left by a section of the Kalenjin population. Just a section. I'm not saying the whole of the Kalenjin population. Because as we head towards 2022, with this Azimio la Umoja bringing on board all these small parties and these major parties, it will be very, very clear to even the residents of Mount Kenya that Oda, or rather William Ruto, will not be the president. It will be very, very clear to them. So I tend to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the wave that will be created by this Azimio la Umoja alliance, in one way or the other, will also persuade some residents of Mount Kenya who still shall have not made up their mind on which side to vote for. So that as a result of that wave, that will persuade these residents of Mount Kenya to also vote along other Kenyans. In this case, Azimio la Umoja. And I'm saying that with a lot of confidence. Then on Oda again in Rift Valley, I strongly believe that the wave of Azimio la Umoja will also cut across the Kalenjin nation. And as that cuts across the Kalenjin nation, then Gideon Moi factor will come into play. I'm seeing a situation where Gideon Moi most likely will appeal to the Kalenjin community not to be left out of the government. So as Gideon Moi will be doing that in the Kalenjin nation, I tend to believe that the Tugen subtribe of the Kalenjin community, Gideon Moi subtribe, a good portion of them will be convinced in one way or the other to vote with Gideon Moi or to go with the Azimio la Umoja. And that will be influenced by two factors. The first factor, Gideon Moi will be seen to be closer to power than William Ruto. Because I know Gideon Moi most likely will be holding some senior position in that government. And the second factor, Gideon Moi being a Tugen, Tugens might also decide now to support or to go with one on their own. So Tugens will have to weigh whether to go with a Tugen like them or to go with a Nandi who's a William Ruto. So in that case, a good portion of the Tugen community, if not 70 to 80%, might decide to vote along with Gideon Moi and Azimio la Umoja. And then if you look at the Pokot and the Turkana vote, the Pokot vote, the Pokot vote, even in the last election, they have really not been going with William Ruto, the side of William Ruto. They have been giving Raila Molo Odinga some good votes. And that's largely because of insecurity that has been prevalent in those areas. William Ruto has been part of the government, but the Pokots have all felt, for a very long time, they have felt that William Ruto has not been able to address the insecurity in their area. So I'm also convinced that also a good portion of the Pokots will also largely vote with the Azimio la Umoja, and in this case, Raila Molo Odinga. So Pokot being the Kalenjins and also the Tugen being the Kalenjins, if you remove a good portion of the Tugen, then a good portion of the Pokot vote, then William Ruto, ladies and gentlemen, his dream of maybe galvanizing the Kalenjin vote into one solid basket, he might not realize that. Or rather, that might not be realized. So in a nutshell, as much as William Ruto might run away with almost a clear majority of the Kalenjin vote, some good percentage, or rather some good votes of the Kalenjin might also elude him or escape away from him. Having said all that, ladies and gentlemen, just as I conclude now, I'm seeing a possibility in a situation where in 2022, we are most likely going to have the same replica of what happened in the year 2002. In 2022, we might have the same scenario or something similar to what happened in the year 2002. And the candidate, let me put it here clearly, the candidate that this Azimio la Umoja will come up with, that candidate will win the presidency, ladies and gentlemen, with a very, very big landslide. That candidate will win. If the candidate will be Raila Odinga, then you must be prepared for a Raila Amolo Odinga presidency. That one is very, very clear now, even to anybody who is still burying his head in the sand. That's very, very clear. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, just as I did indicate when we were starting, if you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very, very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. Give it a like, please. Those who are watching us outside Kenya, for the very, very first time, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. Drop a comment. Our fans and subscribers in this YouTube channel, I'm very much humbled and very, very much grateful with the kind of support you are giving me in this YouTube channel by constantly giving our videos likes, constantly dropping your comments. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana.